Football been around longer than you might think. The first set of official rules were drawn up all the back in 1863. Sadly, we don't have enough footage from those days. So here's the best footballer from every decade. Dixie Dean. William Ralph Dixie Dean, January 22, 1907 to March 1, 1980, was an English footballer who played as a center forward. He is regarded as one of the greatest center forwards of all time and was inducted into the English Football Hall of Fame in 2002. But Dixie Dean was still goal machine. Dixie Dean has started his career with local team Tranmere Rovers. Dean made his debut for the England national football team against British rivals Wales at the Racecourse Ground in Wrexham in February 1927, less than a month after his 20th birthday. His final game for England came in a 1-0 victory over Ireland in October 1932 at Blackpool FC's Bloomfield Road, when Dean was 25 years old. Dean was involved in the 1927 and 1929 editions of the British Home Championship. During the 1927 edition, Dean scored 4 goals in his 2 games for England and scored twice against Scotland at Hampden Park. Despite the loss, the Scots won the competition overall and applauded Dean, who finished the tournament as top scorer. Joseph Pepe Bican, September 25, 1913 to December 12, 2001, was an Austrian-Czech professional footballer who played as a striker. He is the second most prolific goalscorer in official matches in recorded history according to Rec Sport Soccer Statistics Foundation, RSSSF, with over 950 goals scored in 624 matches. The same thing happened in 1930s. Josep Bitsen died in 2001, but same thing happened in past year when Cristiano Ronaldo broke his record to become football's top scorer of all time. It just goes to show how good Bistan was that his record stood for so long. On November 29, 1933, aged 20 years and 64 days, Bican made his debut for Austria in a 2-2 draw against Scotland. He later played for them at the 1934 World Cup, when the Austrian Wonder Team reached the semi-finals. His solitary goal in the tournament came in extra time of Austria's 3-2 win over France. He was fast and phenomenon. Giuseppe Meazza deserve a mention when it comes to the 1930s, but Bitsan goal for Italy has his own history and speaks for itself. 1940s. Stanley Matthews is one England's greatest footballers. The wing wizard was magician with the ball at his feet. Football was disrupted in the 1940s by the Second World War. Matthews served in the RAF and the conflict cost his career from the age of 24 to 30. Football returned in 1946. And Matthews vowed to make up for lost of time. He was the inspiration behind Stoke's surprise title challenge in the first season. Back at international level, he drizzled his opponent with tricky balance and dribbling skills. Matthew used to hug touchline and loved to take on defenders one-on-one. He played international football until the age of 50. Stanley Matthew was the true legend of game. 1950s. Alfredo Di Stefano now don't let the black and white images and was one of the greatest footballers the world has ever seen. Di Stefano joined Real Madrid in 1953. Without Los Blancos wouldn't be the global giants they are today. Di Stefano was a star player as Madrid won 5 European Cups in a row between 1956 to 1960. In 1960 he usually described as a great forwarder, but position didn't really do injustice. Stefano was such a complete footballer that he used to pop up in the defense midfield and attack all in the same game. Born in Argentina, he actually played his most of international matches for Spain, but when you picture Stefano in the white kit of Real Madrid weren't a one-man team in 1950s. But they would have achieved what they did without. 1960s. Pelé won first World Cup in 1958 and his third one in 1970. He also won the tournament in 1962 but got injured in the second game in 1966. Brazil crashed out in the group stage. Despite all that, there's no doubt that Pelé was at the peak of his career. In 1960s, the king of Brazilian football sometimes gets mocked these days. There's definitely a debate to be had about how many goals he really scored. A genius like Pelé can't be reduced to numbers, though. Do you ask anyone who played with him or against him in the 1960s, and they tell you just how brilliant he was. It's true some of his goals in 1960s came in friendliness, but Pelé Santos was playing against Europe top teams and he was incredible. Thanks to him. 1970s. Johan Cruyff. Has there ever been a cooler footballer? The Dutch legend wasn't just stylish off the pitch. He was a world-class who remains iconic figure in the game. Cruyff was such an intelligent player that he helped invent the total football style. Used by Ajax in Holland in the 1970s, his goals, creativity, and all-round brilliance helped Ajax win 3 European Cups that decade, and he also shot at the Dutch reached in the World Cup final in 1974. Cruyff won 3 Ballon d'Or, yes, in the 1970s, which was more than any other player. Even the duo of legendary German footballer Franz Beckenbauer and Gerd Müller weren't quite in Cruyff class. He was true legend. Diego Armando Maradona was born on October 30, 1960. Maradona's vision, passing, ball control, and dribbling skills were combined with his small stature, which gave him a low center of gravity, allowing him to maneuver better than most other players. On October 20, 1976, Maradona made his professional debut for Argentinos Juniors. International career. During his time with the Argentina national team, Maradona scored 34 goals in 91 appearances. He made his full international debut at age 16, against Hungary, on February 27, 1977. World Cup. Maradona captained the Argentine national team to victory in the 1986 World Cup in Mexico, winning the final in Mexico City against West Germany. International management. Maradona is coach of Argentina in 2009. He left the position after the 2010 FIFA World Cup in South Africa. On November 25, at the age of 60, Maradona suffered cardiac arrest and died in his sleep at his home in 1990s. Ronaldo won the World Cup and scored all of his 104 Madrid goals in the 2000s. But there was nothing quite like the R9 of the 1990s. That's year when he earned the nickname. Oh, phenomenal Ronaldo was arguably the greatest football teenager ever seen. He announced himself to the world when he scored 54 goals in 57 games for PSV. He was even better at Barcelona, combining speed, strength, and skill. The Brazilian tore things up in his one season at club. He carried on terrorizing defenses at Inter, then led Brazil to the World Cup final in 1998. The decade ended badly for the Ronaldo with a serious knee injury affecting him rest of his career. He could have been more legendary if he stayed fit. But the 1990s was our 9th best time of his whole career. 2000s. Zinedine Zidane. It's a bit surprising that Zinedine Zidane only won 1 Ballon d'Or that came in 1998. After he started in France World Cup victory. Zidane was like a fine player, he just got better with age. He began the decade with some stunning performances at Euro 2000. Zizou added another medal to his collection. Zidane joined Real Madrid the following year and ended his first season by scoring an incredible volley with his weaker foot in the Champions League final. Not a bad start to life at the Madrid, probably should have won more during the Galacticos era, but Zidane wasn't blamed for that. He was world-class even at the age of 34. Just look how dominated the 2006 World Cup, with a strong nod to Thierry Henry and Ronaldinho. The 2000 belonged to Zinedine Zidane. 2010s. Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. How on earth can we split these two? On rivalry between Messi and Ronaldo define the 2010s. And it's impossible to choose between them from 2009 to 10. 2019 to 20. Messi and Ronaldo scored more than 100 club goals between them. They also won La Liga titles, 6 Champions Leagues and 9 Ballon d'Ors. Ronaldo won Euro 2016 with Portugal, while Messi failed to lift the trophy with his country, but the Argentina scoop won more Ballon d'Or than CR7. Messi won the World Cup in 2022 and lifted host trophy for his country recently, but CR7 not did. Messi and Ronaldo might be coming to end of his careers, but no one will be able to erase the memories of their brilliance in the 2010s. Messi and Ronaldo are two greatest players